We've now designed systems to deal with the conflicts in our countries, and in our homes, in our schools, in our churches that have nothing to do with the values that we share. Holy shit. No wonder we're in trouble. I really think we need to respect each crime as an opportunity to find out what's going on here and get to the root of it. Criminal justice system buries those roots.
I have to say, and I'm ashamed to admit it, when I first heard about Peacemaking Circle, the name caused me to kind of mock it and ridicule it as some hippy-dippy stuff. But then I sat in on a circle. And after I experienced the power of the Peacemaking Circle process, I was a convert, no longer ridiculed it. And really we started to think, well, how can we use this as a adjunct or as an alternative to the traditional court process?
Well, I remember I was sitting with my mom and my public defender, I can't recall her name now, but I was just angry. And they told me about peacemaking, and I kind of laughed. I didn't know a whole lot about it, but just like anybody else that was in the programs, they were like, no, I don't want to,
I thought I would be going into some type of like AA type of like establishment, like super like creepy.
And I just wasn't talking to nobody. I just sat down, didn't say anything.
A lot of harm in the world comes out of unresolved loss and grief. We live in a culture that suppresses loss and grief, that doesn't provide ways for the members of the community to really process deeply, because showing emotions is considered weak.
This is a very important moment. You can either go back and do the things you were doing before, and it's either going to lead you to an early grave or to prison, or you can take this moment where all these people love you and they want you to succeed, and you can go in a different direction.
And like everybody started like opening up and like telling each other like mistakes they made in the past, good things they have done, their situation, their emotions.
And putting everything out there on the table for everybody to go attack it, and then having nobody attack it, and everybody putting out their own feelings as well was, I don't know if I want to say uncomfortable, but it was definitely different in a good way.
You see, when a young person comes into court, their attorney rightly says, don't talk. I'll do all the talking for you. That's what a good attorney is supposed to do. When you come into a peacemaking circle, and all of a sudden this talking stick is in the hands of a 16-year-old boy, and all of the adults and everybody else in the room is leaning in to hear what he has to say, that is a powerful moment.
The first time I actually shared something personal of importance to me, I started to cry. And I was like, fuck, why do I have to cry? Really? Like, is it really that important? And I thought I was gonna get chewed out, but there's some kids in there that, they're like, hey, I'm there with you, man. I respect you for sharing that.
It kind of goes back to this thing, if I cause harm, and you want me to be accountable, do you create the condition in which I can understand that I've caused harm, that I can tolerate the humility, the shame, the looking at it, and understanding the harm you've caused to somebody else, and then go forward?
Never really had that time to just like think about my emotions, think about what my mind is saying. So being open to that at 16, I was like, it was really a good opportunity, and it helped me a lot.
And it kind of molded that into my head that that's an acceptable thing, to be in tap with your emotions and think about the people you hurt with the stuff that you do. I think that was a big game changer for me.
When you sit down together in a circle, you want to have some order. How are we going to be with each other while we're sitting here together?
What values do we have that we share? It's an exercise that I've done now for years, and other people who do circle training do the same thing. And all over the world, people come up with the same personal values. How could that be? You know, it's not based on economic class, it's not based on religion, it's not based on their ethnicity, it's not based on who their parents are.
The power of prosecutors in criminal justice reform is that it doesn't happen without prosecutors. You can have the most well-intentioned judges, defense attorneys, even in large part police officers, but if prosecutors are not interested in criminal justice reform, you will never have it. Being the gatekeepers of what actually comes into the criminal justice system gives us the most power in the system. And so it has to be prosecutors who are willing to either lead the charge or partner in efforts to change the system.
So I am excited today to preside over the termination of David's criminal case through his participation in the Peacemaking Circle process.
In the 14 months of working with David and his family, we have completed 22 home visits, 84 phone calls, a minimum of 205 text communications with the team, 11 school visits, 14 peacemaking circles. Notable, when we asked David to leave the street life, he was not reluctant at all. He was fully prepared to give up that life and to step into his own healing and the healing of the community.
Most of these kids have got a really strong back. You know, they're strong-willed. The more you hit them, the more they hit you back. When you actually deal with the healing that's necessary, they start to heal themselves.
The growth that I've seen in him has really been remarkable. When he came into juvenile court, I was concerned. There were these robbery charges. A weapon was used. I really wasn't sure about this young man. He wasn't going to school. And I kind of looked at him and kind of shook my head and thought, I don't even know if I feel comfortable with him being in the community. But I look at him now, he would be welcome at my home anytime.
Peacemaking Circle, in so many ways, is so unique. It helped us deeply understand what happened and why.
He wants to read his apology letter? Okay. I think that would be wonderful for everyone to hear.
Quiero pedir disculpas por lo que hice, darte las gracias por dejarme participar en el Círculo de Paz. Somos de Durango, México. Nos vinimos cuando yo tenía 12 años. Mi papá es un lava trastes en un restaurante y mi mamá casi no puede trabajar porque está enferma. Batallamos para conseguir la renta. La noche que hice el accidente sentí un poco de presión porque sabía que pronto tenía que comenzar a contribuir más económicamente en la familia. Ese día cuando decidí robarte, yo recuerdo que te dije que me dieras todas tus cosas. Me dijiste que por favor que no te hiciera daño porque tenías familia. Después miré en tus ojos y miré que tenías miedo y me di cuenta que era una cosa en mi vida que jamás voy a poder olvidar. Probablemente pensaste que nunca verías a tu familia y que tu familia tendría que pagar por mi culpa. Tal vez pensaste que si ibas a vivir o no. En ese momento pensé en mi familia y también me puse en tu lugar. En ese momento me di cuenta que era igual que tú y que tienes familia que te quiere igual que yo. quiero que en verdad sienta lo que estoy diciendo porque no hice esto nomás para salir de problemas. Quiero hacer este proceso porque quiero superarme y ser alguien en la vida. Esto me ayuda, estoy estudiando en la escuela y también trabajando. Soy mejor persona, no estoy en las calles, estoy tomando mi vida en serio. Me ayuda a ser una persona honesta y ser responsable por mis errores. Espero que tú puedas superarte en tu vida y de nuevo gracias por la oportunidad de cambiar. Sinceramente, David.
When you're doing circle, you're creating this vessel that allows for a level of vulnerability to occur. And so it makes you reflective, it makes you introspective, it makes you empathic in the sense of now you're listening with empathy. We come from different places and we speak different languages and we've had different life experiences, but we have family members that we worry about, we have mental health issues in the course of our families, we have depression, we have addiction, we have grief, all these things we carry around in us, and if we share those, suddenly we get to that point, oh, we really are alike. And that becomes the foundation of creating that trust.
I'd say it's a mindset. You either want to make peace or you don't. You don't want to put that effort in. Because it's hard work to actually delve into your emotions, to connect with other people. It's hard work. It's not, it's not just given to you. You have to want to make peace.
You could have been in a really messed up situation. Somebody could have been dead. You could have been in the box right now facing 25 to life. So I was able to change my actions, and I had a chance to. It changed my headspace.
A lot of people think of peacemaking as making peace between two different people. But what I got out of it is it's really making peace within yourself. It's really a internal fighting that demon inside of you, in overcoming that demon inside of you. I think that's what peacemaking is to me.
It is an incredible testament to David's work that he is going from looking at two violent felony offenses that would result normally in time at JRA to a situation where he has entered a deferred disposition on two Class C felonies and has the opportunity, if he continues doing the work as he's done, which I have no doubt he will do, of getting these cases dismissed. And that happens in a way that has allowed for accountability on his part. It has allowed for reparations to the community, and it has allowed for him to grow as a person. And whatever any concerns anyone has about that, about this process and the way it works in every single case, when it works, that last piece is something very special and something very new as part of the criminal justice system. And we can begin this process of sending David off with a successful beginning to the rest of his life.
The worst that can happen is you're back to the same old. The best that can happen is suddenly you have some young people who see themselves not only doing something different, non-criminal, but also seeing themselves in a different light. You're really creating positive human beings who feel themselves, oh, I can contribute, and this is how I can contribute.
It hit me more and more the longer I was away from it, the more I put it in my back pocket as a win and moved on. It's like, oh, I got through it, The more I realized the stuff that I learned in that group just has carried with me so much. My school's done a whole 180. I don't know if it's because of this, but I've dropped out of high school before. Now I'm going to Washington State University. I don't know what happened in between, but it changed my life. It just changed my life.
I believe that circle process represents a profound paradigm shift, because our current structures are power over structures. So a restorative process should be transferring power. A restorative process should be involving everyone who has a stake in the outcome, both in what happened and what's done to respond to what happened. All stakeholders should be involved. Decisions should be made by consensus. Everyone has a voice.
As I see this process of circles in the community evolve, I want to see it everywhere. Schools, courtrooms, jails, hospitals, behavioral health system, child welfare, anywhere you think where people gather, because it becomes the foundation of this paradigm shift. Because we have been so wedded to the process of there always has to be a winner and a loser. I think in Circle, it's a process where we create win-wins, not only for the individuals involved in it, but for the community as a whole.
So it's about democracy. It's about community building. It's about people recognizing that they need to step up if they want a better community than what they've got. It's going to take an awful lot of people in the justice system to be able to have the courage to step up and do that. And I think they are now. I really think that we're on the cusp of a change.